as I thought about what could I do, sort of in a chance to meet with him, which did turn out to be the one and only chance I had to visit with him, leading up to it, I thought what I wanted to do was to gather together letters that I had received from people in those early months, those that talk specifically about the impact that Bob Greenlief or his writings on servant leadership had upon them. And so I had dozens of letters that I pulled out and that I took with me for that visit. And I spent a lot of time just sort of reading to him these letters. And they were powerful letters that I think my perception was that they were a great surprise for Bob to hear, person after person thanking him essentially, or recognizing what impact he had had through his writings. And he was very moved. And I think it was I felt like it was a gift that, maybe the only gift I could provide him in some source of comfort, but he seemed to feel that way. And we had a great time. He was a man of few words throughout his life, and certainly by the time I met him, he was restricted to sort of 1 or 2 word responses. But one thing I recall very clearly from that visit with him was my wife and I had our second son was born on July 14th, which is Bob's birthday, and had been born July 14th, 1990. So it was a couple of months before I visited with Bob, and I had sent him in advance a picture of my family, and mentioned that our son Matthew had been born on his birthday, July 14th. And when I walked in the door, Bob had that picture in front of him.
Oh.
We'll start. I know where we're going to start. So.
Hi, this is Cindy.
Started. What I'd like you to do is maybe focus on the story you were talking about of having visited Bob. You'd sent the picture of your family beforehand, and when you got there, the picture was, and then if you can start from where you went to see, when you went to see him, that you had sent this picture before, maybe use that as the starting point.
I had sent Bob a picture of our family in advance of coming, and when I walked in the door, he was holding this picture of my wife and I and our 2 children. And and I told him that, well, first of all, I walked in and he said, as soon as I sat down, he pointed at the picture and he said, "Nice children." And I said, "You're absolutely right." Part of the funny aspect of it for me was I had taken a little ribbing after Matthew was born that somehow or another I had manipulated the date of Matthew's birth so that it would fall on Bob's birthday. And so my wife and I had been sort of teasing one another that we had in fact taken steps to make sure that he was born on the 14th. Matthew was originally supposed to be born on July 4th, and so he was 10 days late. You know how those dates, predictions of those things go. But it was clear to me that Bob had was tickled that Matthew had been born on his birth date, and it really just sort of set the stage for what was a wonderful morning together with my reading the letters that I mentioned and taking pictures of the new location of the Greenlief Center.